Lord of the Rings is a new novel from J.R.R. Tolkien. It's now 1955, and the first draft of this novel was completed some 10 years ago, meaning that the writing of this novel has been mired in controversy and delays. But have the delays been worth it? And does Tolkien finally deliver the novel we've been longing for? Let's find out. The Lord of the Rings is an open-world novel. The main character, Frodo, leads a party of 9, made up of different races and classes. There's your classic wizard, archer, swordsman archetypes, as well as a shorter character type known as a hobbit that has a focus on stealth. The cast of characters are interesting and diverse, and their interactions are some of the highlights of the novel. For example, the elf character, Legolas, and the dwarf character, Gimli, don't like each other because of racial tensions, but over time they come to see each other as friends. In this way, the novel is conveying a message about tolerance and acceptance, which is an important lesson in our current age of divisiveness. Unfortunately, this core cast of characters lacks any females. They even go so far as to call it a fellowship. It's like they're trying to make things worse. While there are a number of strong female characters in the novel who often save the day, they are not the main characters, and for me, this is unforgivable. I won't stress this point too much because I don't want to make this review overly political, but please note that I have pointed this out, and I do plan to post about it later on Twitter. The core of this novel is, of course, combat, and I must say that I found the Lord of the Rings combat quite generic. We've seen fighting with swords, bows, and spells so many times before, and the Lord of the Rings really doesn't take any risks with this formula. I recently read a different novel that combined swords with spells to incredible effect, so it's actually quite disappointing that Tolkien didn't go down this route as well. There's also a strong reliance on eagles during boss fights, which is really just a lazy mechanic. Still, combat has never really been Tolkien's strong suit, so we should probably give him a pass and focus on what we know he's good at: storytelling. The setting for the novel is simple: deliver a magic ring to a volcano. But as you expect, the story deviates from the core story into various sub-stories throughout the telling. The story is well written enough with believable characters and dialogue, though I chose to only read the sections of the novel that related to the main story because I didn't enjoy the sub-stories, and also because I have 2 other novels to read this week. I don't think I miss much. The sub-stories that I did read really felt like filler and didn't add a great deal to my overall enjoyment of the novel. I wonder when writers will wake up and realize that more isn't always better. I read a standard softcover edition of the novel which was sent to me by the publisher. I feel like I need to point this out to you because you might think I'd be willing to mortgage my reputation for the cost of a book unless I did so. The book the novel was printed on was generally good, but there were some minor glitches. For example, when I turned a page, sometimes the pages would stick together and I would accidentally turn 2 pages. While the chosen font was good and appropriately sized, there were times when you could tell that the printer was running low on ink, as some of the font became more faint than other font. Generally speaking though, it's an impressive package that gets the job done, so I think we need to recognise the publisher for their good work here. It must be said that the publisher George Allen and Unwin are often controversial for their business practices. Recently they released another novel that was released in 3 separate editions: deluxe hardcover, and softcover. It's frustrating that publishers can't just deliver the core novel experience in one edition and feel the need to inflate prices with non-essential money grabs. They've also been guilty of the disgraceful practice of building up anticipation for their product through marketing activities, and have even gone so far as to allow people to pre-purchase their novels before they're even released. These barbaric practices have no place in the novel industry, and I want to make it clear for the sake of my credibility that I do not support them. Never pre-order novels. The Lord of the Rings is over 900 pages long, so it does provide very good value for money. If you pay the recommended retail price of $20 and divide that by the average time to finish the novel of around 80 hours, that equates to 25 cents per hour of entertainment, which is very good value, but not as good value as other free-to-read novels available at the library. Overall, I enjoyed The Lord of the Rings. The characters and story convey some important messages, and while the combat isn't too flashy, it does deliver what we'd expect from Tolkien. Minor technical issues with the printing can be overlooked, but as I said, the lack of female party members cannot, and it seriously detracts from my ability to say I enjoyed the novel without getting yelled at. I think this is an average book, so I'd rate it a 7.5 on the traditional scale, or a borrow from friend, purchase when discounted by 25% or 20% if you have your Amazon Prime discount, on the more contemporary YouTube rating scale. But that's my view, and I would love to ask you some generic questions in the hope that you'll leave a comment, because the YouTube algorithm will be more likely to recommend my video. So, who was your favorite character in this book and why? Do you think this book is better than The Witcher? If they made a sequel to this book, what weapons should they add? Please remember to like and subscribe for more quality reviews. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!